Hello, Nigeria. I am Becky Madujemo. It's a pleasure to host you on Newsline. To our Christian friends watching, happy Palm Sunday. Our program tonight has coronavirus headline in it. So much is going on across the country. Lagos, Ogun, and Abuja are under lockdown. Government is employing huge resources to keep Nigerians safe. People are home trying to avoid the virus, and cabin fever is quite a period for the word. The reports we have lined up will cover issues on COVID-19, especially how to contain the spread. Rural areas are not left out. We went to several communities to find out how much they know about the virus and how they are complying with the rules. But Elizabeth Omoriyi will give us the news first. I will be back shortly. Take it, Lizzie.
Hello, Lizzie and Becky. Thanks for joining us on the news segment of the program. With 10 new diagnoses of COVID-19 in Nigeria today, the number of cases came to 224. Of the new cases, 6 are in Lagos, 2 in the FCT and 2 in Edo. 27 out of the 224 cases in Nigeria have been discharged, while 5 fatalities have been recorded. A multi-sectoral National Emergency Operations Center, activated at Level 3, continues to coordinate the national response activities. Now, let's join Adebola Brooksland Sunday for a global update on the coronavirus.
Hello, it's the weekly review edition of Global Update on COVID-19. But before that, this is the current situation as at 7 p.m. local time. The worldometer shows that 1,244,321 persons have been infected globally, out of which 67,851 people died, while 256,467 have recovered. In Africa, the total number of positive cases as at 7 p.m. GMT is 8,536, spread across 50 countries, with 360 deaths and 710 recoveries. Let me take you through the coronavirus pandemic in the last 1 week. On Saturday, 4th April, as at 6 p.m. local time, data compiled by Johns Hopkins University shows that the number of countries affected stood at 205. The number of confirmed infections globally reached 1,139,120. The death toll was 61,144 and recovered cases was 236,214. On Friday, 3rd April, 8 p.m. local time, the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases worldwide rose above 1 million, doubling the total in the past week. The tally shows that a total of 1,044,167 people were diagnosed with the virus across the world, with a death toll of 55,311, while recoveries stood at 222,332. The African Center for Disease Control also reported 7,028 cases of the virus, 284 deaths, and 561 recoveries. On a day, Malawi reported its first case of the virus. As at 9 p.m. Thursday, 2nd April, the confirmed cases of COVID-19 reached 1 million and death tally climbed 50,000. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus noted that the organization's situation dashboard indicated that the pandemic has killed nearly 50,000 people globally.
The restrictions many countries have put in place to protect health are taking a heavy toll on the income of individuals and families and the economies of communities and nations. We're in a shared struggle to protect both lives and livelihoods.
On the 1st of April, record from the Worldometer shows that over 889,000 cases of coronavirus were recorded across the globe, out of which over 34,000 died, while over 188,000 recovered. The meter also showed that out of 656,195 who were infected, 622,007 were in mild condition, while 34,531 were in serious or critical condition. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres described the coronavirus pandemic as the most challenging crisis since World War II. He also, in the week, commended Nigeria's efforts to curtail the virus.
I was quite impressed to see, for instance, Nigeria, and Africa is, of course, the main concern of us all, Nigeria putting in place immediately in a stadium an hospital. And I saw difficulties in countries that are much more developed to do quickly the same.
We also told you that the coronavirus pandemic entered the third month of ravaging the entire world. A disease that began in China now made the United States of America his throne.
Today is Palm Sunday, a day Christians commemorate the triumphant entry of Jesus into Jerusalem before his death on the cross. The coronavirus pandemic has, however, forced faithful to mark the day in isolation. Talatu Izerike was at the private mass celebrated by Most Reverend Kaigama, whose message centered on hope and trust in God in overcoming the challenges.
This would have been how the streets of the Federal Capital Territory will be on days like this. But these are Abuja streets on this Palm Sunday in compliance with the lockdown to curtail the spread of the coronavirus pandemic. The Palm Sunday is a tradition rooted in the scriptures when the people sang Hosanna in the highest, spread branches in the path of Jesus when he entered Jerusalem. Today, the faithful are observing Sunday obligations via media platforms. The Catholic Archbishop of Abuja, Most Reverend Ignatius Kaigama, however, had a private mass devoid of the palm procession, where he commended ongoing efforts to curtail the virus. He encouraged the faithful to be steadfast and prayerful, noting that they will overcome like the time of the early Christians.
Before now, some nations in crisis were left on their own. We hope that this will be a new beginning, that the mighty nations, the smaller and weak nations, will form one global family and in solidarity act together to conquer the social vices of our society.
Unlikely mixed feelings of the faithful over physical cross from the branches in their homes, he advises thus.
The cross will always be there for the people to carry. It's not just the cross woven with a palm branch. So we encourage our people to keep hope alive and never be discouraged. This is extraordinary. This is a strange time, and I'm sure all this will pass.
One common phenomenon of the Mass was the red worn by the priest to represent passion and martyrdom.
The gospel of today is actually called the Passion of Jesus Christ. Let us be confident that the suffering of Christ will not be in vain, even at this moment.
Like never before, reinvigorate our belief and our commitment to the work of God.
At a time like this, the general advice is for intensified prayers. So I joined in the prayers. And my prayer points were: 1, for the Almighty God to take away this COVID-19 off the surface of the earth. And 2nd, to guide our leaders and people right in building a stronger Nigeria. Talatu Ezerike, NTA News.
Thank you, Talatu. And the management of the UBTH has revealed that the health workers exposed to COVID-19 patients prior to their confirmation as infected are asymptomatic and are being monitored closely according to current guidelines. Obey Otobo Apresai reports.
The Chief Medical Director, University of Benin Teaching Hospital, Darlington Obaseki, has confirmed that 3 persons have tested positive for the dreaded coronavirus. While 1 has died, 2 others are being treated in the isolation unit. 2 statements, one by the CMD, Obaseki, and another from the head rapid response team, Dr. Benson Okwara, explained that the patients came in with complaints of cough, difficulty in breathing, and catarrh, and claimed that their travel history had no foreign component. However, further clinical investigations proved that they tested positive after 72 hours. At this point, medical personnel and others had been exposed to these patients who had been admitted into the wards. The patients have since been isolated, while necessary precautionary measures are in place to forestall such a mix-up in the future. In Benin, Obehi Otoba Presai, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Lagos State government has offered free Medicare to accident victims and pregnant women who fall into labor during the period of COVID-19 lockdown. Nosa Ursula reports that Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu in a broadcast directed that medical bills of all patients in emergency and casualty cases, including their registration, laboratory tests, surgeries and drugs, will be taken care of by the state in all the 27 general hospitals in the state during the COVID-19 lockdown.
Who are eligible will not need to pay to access treatment and care at any of the 27 general hospitals across the state. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who commended law-abiding residents of the state, urged them to keep being responsible Lagosians by obeying all the directives issued by the health experts. The governor added that the state government will not hesitate to prosecute anyone found to be flouting the directives of the government on lockdown, saying over 400 commercial buses have been impounded for flouting the order.
Just as we've seen patients being discharged, unfortunately we've also seen new cases being discovered in the metropolis. And so I think we need to give credit on behalf of Lagosians to thank all our medical personnel, our emergency personnel, and all our hard work staff, our volunteers. And I want to imagine that when the story of this brave fight against COVID-19 is told, there's no doubt that their sacrifice and service and heroism will feature prominently.
Governor Sanwo-Olu, however, hinted that the state may need to extend the period of the COVID-19 lockdown beyond 14 days. The governor appealed to residents to continue to maintain social distancing and follow other hygienic measures to defeat the deadly disease. In Lagos, Nosa Ursula, NTA News.
The FCT task team on enforcement of lockdown order on COVID-19 says vehicles impounded for violating the subsisting presidential order shall remain in police custody until the 14 days lockdown order is lifted. Leader of the team, Commissioner of Police, said this in a chat with journalists on the development. Ilyasu Onotu Yakubu reports.
This is a picture of the daily encounter of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 lockdown, especially in the suburbs of the nation's capital. Errant residents flouting the sit-at-home advice by the pandemic managers. And so, the security operatives resorted to impounding non-essential service providers' vehicles and automobiles on the road. Amongst them are trucks supplying construction materials to sites, commercial operators as well as private vehicles without genuine reasons for being on the road against the lockdown. But then, some of the vehicle owners offers explanations.
I went to drop an item, for my people in Area 1, and I was coming back. I told the police officer, I just went to drop food item. He said no evidence.
You are an essential service provider?
Yes, the man showed them the permission that they give him to the command. They say no, that is not their work.
I've been locking inside for how many weeks now? So because of this thing, because they tell us that anybody who is not here well can go to the hospital. So this is the truth.
Commissioner of Police FCT Balachi Roma bemoans the few recalcitrant residents for working at cross purpose with the tax team, even in the face of relentless enlightenments and caution about the threat of the pandemic.
The pandemic is challenging the very existence of the human race. We expect all to personally and voluntarily come on board in respect of this lockdown.
So far, 146 vehicles, 46 motorcycles and 9 tricycles have been impounded, and the task force says it will continue to descend heavily on violators until there is total compliance. Iliaso Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
The attention of the Lagos State Police Command has been drawn to a viral video showing a large number of persons, mainly in the entertainment industry, in an estate along Aja Ibejuleke axis, Lagos, celebrating a birthday party organized by Funke Akindele Bello and her husband. A statement by Police Public Relations Officer, Lagos State Command, DSP Bala Elkana, says detectives from the state CID Yaba were promptly drafted to the location. Funke Akindele was arrested and investigation is ongoing as efforts have been intensified to arrest the remaining persons in the video, among whom are Aziz Fashola, aka Naira Marley, and Abdurrashid Bello, also known as JJC Skills. The statement says that the named persons are urged in their best interests to report at the state CID Yaba on Monday, April 6, 2020, or risk being declared wanted. The achievement of the Buhari administration, the State House has chronicled as impressive and life-changing for Nigeria and Nigerians, starting with the proactive measures to contain the spread of coronavirus and the handling of cases, which has earned the country a commendation from the United Nations. The State House articulates the progressive move of Nigeria economically and politically. An article by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, describes the nation after 2015 as improving in all aspects, and citizens can now feel the true meaning of governance. With Nigeria's population of 200 million people, he describes the lockdown in Lagos, Ogun and the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, as global acceptable standards, following the advice of a scientifically led national action plan to halt the spread of the virus and save lives. Garba Shehu describes the administration as forthright in dealing with issues, as the election of President Muhammadu Buhari brought hope to the country, and the 273 Chibok girls in Boko Haram captivity, most of them reunited with their families. The coming of the administration, the write-up also says, uncovered a financial war against Nigeria and Nigerians through insurgency fight and revealing ghost soldiers on the military payroll. Strategic efforts have rebuilt the military, empowering it enough to fracture Boko Haram while consolidating partnership with the British and American militaries. In government, President Buhari, the article says, has waged effective war on corruption, and looted funds are being repatriated, some used for infrastructure development and the social investment programs. The Senior Special Assistant to the President expresses displeasure on the use of coronavirus pandemic as the opportunity to wage fake news war against the country at this time, insinuating that the President is anti-Christian, anti-Britain, as well as the West, and that Boko Haram terrorist attacks on Christians are government's doing. Garba Shehu says there's a difference between opinion and fact, and while everyone is entitled to express the former, the latter can of course be questioned. But it does not then change that it is still a fact. Still on efforts to contain COVID-19, the National Rescue Movement wishes to commend the federal government for actions taken so far to curb the spread of the coronavirus to other parts of the country. A statement by the National Legal Advisor of the National Rescue Movement, Obidike Okolo, says the federal government's plans to decongest correctional centers to ensure safety of inmates is another show of commitment to healthcare of the citizens. The NRM entreats government to, however, exercise caution in the implementation implementation of the policy to avoid issues with security. NRM adds that they have no quarrel with the release of minor offenders who later correctional facilities, but certainly do have vehement objection to the policy extending to capital offenders who with impunity severally visited terror on their fellow citizens. Into road safety, the Co-Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps, Dr. Boboye Oyemi, has ordered the immediate shutdown of the driving school standardization programs portal in order to induce compliance on the suspension of driving school operations in Nigeria and further discourages generation of driving school certificates for trainee drivers by proxy. In a release by the Corps Public Education Officer Bisi Kazim, the directive is part of the Corps' efforts to complement all measures already in place by both the federal and state governments to contain COVID-19 in Nigeria, and also ascertain that no driving school is presently undergoing any form of training for trainee drivers across the country. Oyemi urges everyone affected to remain calm and bear with the prevailing situation, as the directives are targeted at protecting them from contracting or spreading COVID-19. Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umara Zulum says government will not fold its arms and watch fuel marketers take advantage of the movement restrictions put in place towards curbing the spread of COVID-19 to create fuel scarcity, thereby making the product exorbitant. This came to the fore during a meeting with critical stakeholders in the petroleum sector in the state. Mohammed Goni reports.
The meeting between the Borno State Governor and the critical stakeholders in the oil sector that include the DPR, NNPC, IPMAN, NATO and PTD, among others, followed Professor Wagana Umara's visit to filling stations in the metropolis with a threat to revoke certificate of ownership of some marketers found wanting. The interface with stakeholders, according to the governor, was to find ways to address challenges bordering supply of petroleum products into the state, where he acknowledged efforts of DPR and NNPC in that regard.
The government of Borno State will write to the NNPC with a view to reserving fuel in Maiduguri Depot. This is very important. We shall work assiduously to see the resumption of reservation on fuel products in Maiduguri Depot.
Professor Babagana Umara stressed that his administration will do everything possible to protect the rights of citizenry in the state, even as he assured to work with the stakeholders in the oil sector, stressing that fuel supply by the state government is not intended to put them out of business. DPR Zonal Operation Coordinator Northeast, Ibrahim Chiroma, representative of NNPC, IPMAN and other stakeholders, assured the governor of uninterrupted supply of fuel to the state in days to come.
Main focus here is for us to put heads together. If we see any sign that will lead to this kind of scarcity, then it is for us to rise up to the occasion and nip it in the bud.
Though they admitted shortcomings on the part of some marketers, they stressed that restriction of movement in some states due to COVID-19 was responsible for the shortage of the commodity, which they added has already been resolved. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
Into talking COVID-19, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation has dismissed insinuation of mass outbreak of coronavirus infection following the reported case of a COVID-19 infected individual at an apartment in the NNPC estate in the Garki area of Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. A statement by Dr. Kenny Obateru, Group General Manager, Group Public Affairs Division of the NNPC states that the said case involving a non-member of staff of the corporation had to do with an individual who had just returned from the United Kingdom and developed symptoms of the disease, has been tackled by the NCDC and remains an isolated case, as all residents of the affected apartment were moved out and placed in isolation, while officials of the NCDC undertook a disinfection of the flat and adjoining areas to eliminate the chances of community infection. The NNPC says it had long embarked on public awareness campaigns within the NNPC and beyond her borders. The federal government has reassured Nigerians of its continued commitment to ensuring that those who have tested positive for COVID-19 are given good medical attention. In a statement by the spokesperson, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ferdinand Mwonye, the government described the recent commendation by the Secretary General of the United Nations on the way it handled the coronavirus pandemic as a moral booster. It therefore urged citizens to continue to observe necessary health guidelines as issued by the Federal Ministry of Health and the Nigeria Center for Disease Control to stay safe. The recent stay-at-home order by the Akwa Ibom state government is to contain the spread of the coronavirus pandemic has affected Sunday worship services across the state as most churches have closed their doors. However, a new church is being established.
In this part of the country, Sundays are held sacred as it is one day Christians gather in their different denominations for the popular Sunday church services. With the advent of the novel coronavirus and the stay-at-home order declared by the state government, this Sunday is different. The usual bustle around the city is lacking as the streets are empty, a reflection of the compliance of the stay-at-home order. However, it seems most churches were already prepared for the lockdown, as some had before now made provisions for the spiritual well-being of their members.
We are doing our best to push out this spiritual blessing to them, to let them know that, no matter what we're going through, we'll come out victorious.
For us as a church, we started this about 2 Sundays ago. Everybody stay home. Stay with your family and let the head of the family or the senior member of the family lead the service.
The churches in the homes have gained such prominence during this period, and these amateur videos of Sunday services held at various homes across the state is an evidence. Living room settees have been converted to church pews, while other household items have found other usefulness like the pulpits and offering boxes. New choir groups are being formed within the family, and for those who can afford one musical instrument or the other, it is indeed a full church service with the head of the home as the senior presiding pastor. How effective are services in these churches in the homes?
It's just the structure. We are the church. It's a very effective way that the family can bond.
Church in the home is necessary so that we don't lose out completely from having fellowship as brethren.
At almost all the churches in the homes this Sunday, one common denominator was prayers for God to heal the land and stop the spread of the COVID-19. There are some positives to draw from the stay-at-home order, as it has become a real bonding time for families. While we cater for the physical well-being of our families, the spiritual well-being should also be given prominence.
I am a conqueror through you that loves me. I have the victory.
In Uyo, Edidi Yongiba, NTA News.
Into felicitations, President Muhammadu Buhari congratulates the State Chief of Protocol, Ambassador Lawal Abdullahi Kazari, as he turns 60. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu. The President joins family, friends and professional colleagues of Ambassador Kazari to celebrate his milestone in his life as a career diplomat who served diligently in Nigerian foreign missions. President Buhari, who prays for long life for the ambassador, believes that Kazari's vast experience in diplomacy will always remain relevant to nation building. Let's now talk sports. Abia Warriors goalkeeper discharged from hospital as athletes contribute towards defeating COVID-19. Amanze Marcus brings us details on sport.
Will go to healthcare workers battling to save lives. The NBA, WNBA and players have combined to donate $50 million towards coronavirus-related relief efforts. With sports update, Amanze Marcus, NTA News.
And what will the weather look like tomorrow, Monday? Let's find out. segment of the program. Becky is standing by with captivating reports for you after the break. Stay with us.
For now, the best and most efficient way to avoid getting infected is through regular hygienic and sanitary practices as well as social distancing. As individuals, we remain the greatest weapon to fight this pandemic. By washing our hands regularly with clean water and soap, disinfecting frequently used surfaces and areas, coughing into a tissue or elbow, and strictly adhering to infection prevention control measures in health facilities, we can contain this virus.
You can choose to do this with your stew, but not your data. Get more out of life with the new Airtel data plans. Dial *141# today. Data is life.
Airtel, the smartphone network. Postponement of resumption of plenary. This is to inform all distinguished senators and honorable members that resumption of plenary session, earlier scheduled for Tuesday, 7th April 2020, has been postponed due to the presidential pronouncement of 14 days lockdown of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Lagos, and Ogun State to contain the spread of coronavirus COVID-19 in these areas. In view of the above, new date of resumption will be communicated to all distinguished senators and honorable members. Announcer M.A. Sani Omalori, Clerk to the National Assembly.
The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NERC) has issued guidelines to help reduce service disruptions in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. A situation room led by commissioners and top management staff of the commission in collaboration with the system operator is now in place. The phone numbers indicated are direct contacts to the commission in relation to each distribution company. Also note the numbers for WhatsApp and text messages for easy reach of the Commission. Please check our website on www.nerc.gov.ng for more information. Management Announcer.
Welcome, dear. Have you washed your hands?
Inside my house again. This thing not the key black man.
I don't know if it's misinformation or poor hygiene that will kill you first. Coronavirus is real, and good hygiene practice will save your life. Anyway, no hand washing, no eating.
I will not take care of it. I was one of the parents.
Coronavirus is real and it's on the rise. But you can help yourself and help others to be safe. Remember, we can stop the spread. It's in your hands.
This message is from the Akinfade Foundation in partnership with the National Orientation Agency with support from MacArthur Foundation.
This used to be me.
But that was before I got the perfect bag. It's handy and easy to use. All I need in one compact space, just like my MTN Extra Value plan. I used to get one plan for my calls and then try to remember which data plan worked for me. Roaming was a totally different ballgame. Not anymore. I've got the MTN Extra Value all-in-one plan. If you're a data buff like me, you get extra data with some talk time. And if you like to make calls, you get extra talk time with some data. And when I'm abroad, I automatically browse, chat, and call right on the same plan. MTN Extra Value was made just for me.
More of data or calls, whichever one you prefer. MTN Extra Value is made just for you.
Thank you for keeping it here. For a few months running, the coronavirus pandemic has been the major problem confronting the world. Affected countries, Nigeria inclusive, are rolling out preventive measures to curb the spread. In urban cities, a considerable percentage of people are walking around with a mask on. Frequent hand washing is now a tradition, and sanitizers are a must-have. But how well informed are rural dwellers about the pandemic? Felicia Daliop Smaila took a trip to some rural communities in Jos South local government area, and the responses she got are what you're about to hear.
Coronavirus pandemic, otherwise known as COVID-19, at the present is ravaging many countries across the globe, with Nigeria recording a daily increase of infected persons across the country. Though Plateau State has no record of COVID-19, measures are being put in place to guard against the spread of the pandemic, especially in urban areas, as markets, schools, and most offices are shut down with restriction on social gatherings by the government. What then is the situation in the rural area? Our journey in search of the perception of the rural populace on COVID-19 took us to Dakumpiang in Vwang, a village within Jos South local government area. The people say, though they have heard of the coronavirus, they have not seen anyone go down with it. Ngohurun Josiah, who spoke in Birom language, say she doesn't know what kind of disease it is, but she is praying to God and appealing to government to safeguard the lives of people.
If you touch somebody, it will infect you. As now, as they told us, if we did at home, before we eat, wash our hands and close our mouth and the nose so that maybe no bring that sickness for us.
Rahuk, Chugwi, Vwang, and Kirana are also rural communities within Jos South local government area. Life here is different from the city, as people are seen in clusters enjoying variety of games, not mindful of the social distancing.
And we are here sitting. We have never heard of any coronavirus victim here. So with your sitting here, there's no problem.
Some of them still don't believe that rapping with each other can make them contact disease. And that is why you see them keeping closer with each other, living their normal life as if nothing is happening.
Yes, there's no coronavirus from that place. Yes, I was just hearing from the radio.
We are doing all we can to protect ourselves from the virus.
From the rural areas visited, life is still normal, though the people here believe that COVID-19 is real. What they need is more awareness on measures to take against the spread of the global coronavirus pandemic.
This is there to an extent, but more campaigns won't be a bad idea. Now, majority of Nigerians are self-employed, which is why governments had to introduce some palliatives across communities to cushion the hardship they would no doubt experience during the lockdown. Ijoma Uguke stopped over at Omoku, Umerelu, and Mbiama communities in River State to find out the level of awareness on preventive measures against coronavirus in rural areas.
State
state has a population of over 5 million, making it the 6th most populous state in the country. Rivers people found in the southern part of Nigeria comprises the Niger River Delta on the Gulf of Guinea. It is bounded by states of Anambra, Imo, Abia, Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, and Delta states. Although the area has large deposits of crude oil and natural gas, farming and fishing are the principal occupation of the people. The outbreak of coronavirus and its spread to the state has crippled activities in most communities, following the state government's directive that all markets, schools, and public places should remain closed to curtail the spread of coronavirus in the state.
And we make sure that at the local level we keep to the order, because it's for the safety of the entire nation. So everybody must have to comply to the government directive.
They say by touching or shaking of hand that one can contact it, or somebody who is constantly coughing or sneezing.
Anyone that is shivering, we avoid all those ones, and also wash our hands very clean.
The government are preventing our lives because that coronavirus is a deadly disease.
They've told us that we should keep social distance and we should limit the way we gather.
Some of the people who earn their living from the daily income are appealing for palliatives and invention of vaccines to ameliorate their sufferings.
Thanks for that one. The next story is a true test of what Nigeria stands for, a peaceful and united nation. It's about two friends. It's a story that shows that coronavirus knows no religion or ethnic leanings. It is a story about two patriotic Nigerians, one Christian and one Muslim, who demonstrated that Nigeria as a nation can overcome its challenges, such as the COVID-19. If we come together irrespective of our ethnic and religious affiliations, both turn their differences to national strength, as the two friends, Gang William and Nura Jubrin, walked into the Jos University Teaching Hospital, Jude. They requested to fix the two broken down ventilators at no cost as part of their contributions to the fight against COVID-19. Newsline went in search of the two gentlemen who said they stand for service to humanity and the unity of the country. Ashezi Gopep tells us more.
With increasing cases of COVID-19 across the globe, there is the need for adequate preparedness to fight the disease, and ventilators are very critical equipment, not only in the treatment of COVID-19, but also other respiratory illnesses, but are most times inadequate in most medical facilities. Worried by this challenge, these two friends, who deferred every monetary gain or pleasure, provided their skills for the sake of humanity.
So we have to put our best to see how we can be able to do, and I think it would be nice if we can begin to harness our potential in Nigeria. I think we can create some of these things.
I actually didn't know about ventilator machine, but he called me and he was the one that did this research on it. So when he called me, I said, okay, let me come and see what is on ground. So when I came and I saw it, so he now told me that this is just a humanitarian work that we're going to do, not something that I said, me too, I want to participate in it.
William Gang, who is an employee of the Plateau State government, holds a diploma in electrical electronics from the Plateau State Polytechnic, while Nura Jibrin is a graduate of Government Technical College, Bukuru. They both met 21 years ago at the Technical College and are glad to be patriots of the nation. Chief Medical Director, Jos University Teaching Hospital, Professor Edmond Banwat, described the gesture as a step in the right direction.
So I had to ask him a few questions. Who he is, what are his qualifications, has he seen ventilators before? He told me he has not seen it, but he wants to see one, if you could fabricate it. So we got interested in that, and we told them to take him to take a look at the ventilators. And these were non-functional. They were in non-functional state. And he was able to put 2 of them, as I speak today, to put them back to functional state.
With the 2 ventilators fixed, Joof now has a total number of 6 functional ventilators and still hopes for more. For Williams and Nura, history will not forget their names in a hurry because they have written their names in gold. Nura and Williams are not just friends, they are friends of the country. And elsewhere, the majority of people in Kano are complying with the preventive strategies put in place by the state government to end the spread of COVID-19. While mindful of social distancing, Mohammed Rabiu Ali had conversations with a cross-section of people there and will now report on the high level of compliance.
Since the outbreak of COVID-19 in Nigeria, Kano state government is making concerted efforts to curb the spread of the virus to the state. Stringent measures put in place include suspension of all official engagements and operations of event centers, gathering of not more than 50 people, sensitization campaign on hand washing. These strategies have significantly prompted Kano residents on the dangers associated with the virus, where they complied with government directives.
Washing our hands every 1 or 2 hours.
I gathered my family and told them the effect of this disease.
On the level of compliance, especially markets, disinfectants are placed at the entrances.
Here with the various market associations, the leaders, as a team, because we have been having series of meetings here on how to at least enlighten our people on how to handle the different issues that has to do with their health.
Land borders restrictions also played a vital role. For now, Kano State has 5 isolation centers, including the 600-bed capacity underway in the case of eventualities.
Kano is totally prepared, way to go. The lockdown in some major cities is why drama is unfolding in many homes between husbands and wives, parents and children.
A suburb of Abuja to check on the SHA's family. Of course, the reception was warm. Emmanuel SHA, a businessman married to Ejiro, a civil servant, usually start their day at 4 in the morning to beat the 2 or more hours traffic to get to work in the Abuja city center.
Just see yourself waking up in the morning, 4 a.m., running up and down, and then come back in the night. Just it's like we are eating to go to work and come back, eat, go to work. That's what we're living for. But now we can have fun.
They leave home at 5:45 to 6 a.m. and resume at 7 to 8 p.m. every workday.
For a kind of man like me, I like to be on the move. I want to move. I want to make things happen. I want to change my environment, change things. But staying at home like this is choking.
It's been a long time since they had and enjoyed moments like this.
We've missed so many actions for quite some time now. You know, before the kids came, we're always together and all of that. So this period is like a time of refreshing, like bringing back memories.
Right now, I'm getting to know my kids very well. I know what they want, what they can do, what they will not do.
Thanks to the national but unplanned COVID-19 holiday.
Don't quarrel, but I know he loves his phone very well. You know, he wants to follow the trend of everything and all of that. He's feeling constrained, let me use that word. So yeah, sometimes you tell us we just need to go out and all of that. I say, you need to be in the house.
They have a chance to rekindle their love and marital lives.
Like, coronavirus should stop, but if we can have this kind of break in between once in a while, I think it would be very, very nice, really.
So I'm happy about the 2 weeks. And once in a while, I think if the government can introduce something like this, once in a while it's good. It's good. So that family can just go and rest. And life is not, all this we are running after, here and there. You should sometimes take out leave, take out time to go and rest. We don't rest in Nigeria, we're just working. So it's a very good compulsory rest for everybody.
For each day, series of activities are lined up to make every moment count, especially with the children at home.
We do lectures at home.
and play and we also watch cartoon movies. I enjoy having fun. I enjoy lectures. I also enjoy playing at home, missing my friends and lectures and my teachers because of coronavirus.
If it is not a game, then it's the television or trying out new recipes together in the kitchen.
So this is homemade. If you take my yogurt, you'll be fine. You'll be glad. You may not need to buy yogurt anywhere because it's very rich and tasty.
But most interestingly is the melodious harmony this family now have all the time to create.
From beginning to the end, there's no place for argument. You are God all by yourself.
Family there, they obviously mirror what obtains in many homes currently, and we must appreciate them for letting us into the privacy of their home. Now, even in our wildest imagination, we never saw life imitating art to this extent. I mean, the way we've shut down the earth to stay alive. It's almost like we are cast members of a science fiction movie. Life suddenly looks surreal, given the new roles we must play in Nigeria and the global community in order to contain the spread of COVID-19. The social implications are what Ruth Aguele will focus on in this next report.
Tick, tock goes the clock. It all started like child's play in Nigeria. But within a twinkle of an eye, the coronavirus has sprung out, becoming a force to contend with by the entire world, ravaging lives, stealing happiness, and leaving a vacuum in a once social world.
What will happen to birthday parties, ceremonies? We know Nigerians love to commune with one another. But with the social distancing of no hugging, no handshake, how are people coping with these new circumstances? What impact will this have on people's social lives?
I don't go out again. I don't work late nights. In January, I've not been going out late nights.
To some extent, it affects me. Maybe I want to hug somebody and just remember, oh, Corona. I've stopped going to church and I've stopped hugging and shaking people because of the coronavirus.
Like last week, I was supposed to go for a wedding and I had to cancel because of the fear of coronavirus.
Actually, I'm a free man. I don't believe in viruses.
So do you still observe handshakes, hugs?
I do. If you want to hug me, I can hug you. If you want to shake me, I can shake you. I don't see anything wrong with it.
Thank you.
All right.
Joseph may be a Doubting Thomas, but Dr. Abiye, a psychologist, sees the situation as one that is dicey. He says humans are wired to be social animals, and having this social network is crucial to human existence.
So even when we practice social distancing here in Nigeria, people will not be isolated. They will be amongst the families. So they'll be protected to some degree. The people at risk of two different categories. These are people with pre-existing mental health conditions and people who live alone, who don't have any family around.
On the flip side, what are the possibilities of leveraging on the situation?
It can also be a way to develop yourself. There are loads of courses online. You can take a course that you always wanted to take. You can read books. For children, it's very important to engage them cognitively.
Even if we are not maintaining physical contacts, there are other modern and creative ways we can stay in touch with one another. Phone conversations, text messages.
The world is dynamic and change is a constant thing in life. So let the unforeseen light at the end of the tunnel be the yardstick to shape daily existence. And like they say, no pain, no gain.
Provoking reports by Ruth. And thanks for staying tuned. Let's take our first break on the program. We will be back with more.
It really
with anatomic fit technology. New Molfix pants, inspired by babies.
Refresh your confidence with the liquid filling of a Center Fresh cup. Center Fresh. Trust the freshness.
You were born to move. With a comfy, soft and stretchy waistband for your baby and easy to pull on and off for mom. Go with new comfy Huggies pants. Recommended by 9 out of 10 moms for comfort.
Cheetah International Hotel, pleasurable evolution you can't resist. A concept delivered. Cheetah International Hotel brings you face to face with an unimaginable experience you can't erase. You'll like to come again and again. One thing you will hate is to be told the story. Another thing you will love is to be part of the story. You are looking for where your gain equals the cost. Break even with Cheetah International Hotel with our world-class event center that is set to blow your mind away. A world-class arena equipped with top-notch facilities, syndicate bedrooms, hall 1, 2, and 3, underground basement hall, gallery, and many more. Located on plot 224, Solomon Law Way, Utako District, Abuja. For more information on your highly distinguished hotel services, call 081 007 18882 or 081 007 18883. Cheetah International Hotel, a place where your history and future is made.
Amazing Bluetooth, gripping 4K, high-def satellite receiver, vibrant colors, make you feel truly immersed in the action. Omaha Television, inspired by you. Power outages have become part of our lives, and life can be a nightmare without power. That's why, now more than ever, you need to take control of your life with Omaha Portables.
The power output of every Omaha generator is exactly as stated in its power rating.
As long as there's Omaha, your home will have the reliable power you thoroughly deserve.
Omaha generator gives us peace of mind because it never fails us.
Omaha Portable Generators, inspired by you. The main way coronavirus spread is when infected people sneeze and cough. Small droplets of fluid expelled by cough or sneezes are laced with viruses looking for new respiratory tracts to infect. When a sick person sneezes around someone who is healthy, the virus can land in the nose, mouth, or even the eyes, causing an infection. Symptoms can include fever, cough, shortness of breath. Symptoms may appear within 2 to 14 days. Seek medical advice if you develop symptoms and have been in close contact with a person known to have COVID-19, or if you live or have recently been in an area with ongoing spread of COVID-19. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Still on the global pandemic, these are challenging times for those who live in communal houses, the ones we call Face Me, I Face You. The fact that several families share basic amenities like a common toilet and bathroom, maintaining the required distance from each other and ensuring a clean environment are tough to achieve. Jennifer Igwe will share with us some of the difficulties these residents are facing and the strategies they have adopted in order to dodge the coronavirus.
A global war is on, the world against a common enemy, a battle that needs to be won. But nations around the world lack appropriate armory to match the vicious arsenal of the opponent, the deadly contagious coronavirus COVID-19. If the challenger was human or a living organism, the fight would have been easier. But it is a virus, one that is new and has defied every attack to tame and destroy it. To contain the spread of the deadly COVID-19, experts have advised social distancing, regular hand wash, and improved hygiene. But for many who reside in low-income buildings tagged "Face Me, I Face You," because of the way they are structured, this could be quite challenging. A floor, for instance, could have as much as 14 rooms, 7 on each side, separated by a narrow corridor. Residents on each row share same toilets, bathrooms, and kitchen. In a dire situation like the COVID-19 era, residents say unique safety strategies are crucial.
Since the lockdown issue have started, we've been indoor, truly, but at the same time we still come together in the compound in the afternoon to have some rest, to take some fresh breeze, and we should not share toilets. We cannot do that because know how we can stay away from such a thing. Since we are staying in Face Me and Face You apartments, we share same toilets, as I said earlier on. So the only thing we are able to do is that we are able to get sanitizer like IPO, then other things like that, soap, then water that we should clean the toilets very well, clean our environment, then all the things that we need to, we know we can get by ourselves, since government are not providing it for us, so we are able to do that, so that we too, we can be safe on our side.
Face me and face you. We are the type that you can't stay inside all the time. Due to coming out, stuffy, like most days the light. But we thank God that we'll be seeing light for the past 2 days now. Since yesterday we'll be seeing light, like constant electricity. So we need that light, that electricity, #1 priority here, so that that one can still keep us inside.
Okay, so before you use the toilet and bathroom, tell us what you do.
We use the iPick, we use iPick to like wash it, to clean it before using. We know everybody that will do it, but that's what I do.
With the rising cases of coronavirus in Nigeria and deaths, experts say it is time for all Nigerians to take the fight personal by imbibing safety tips and guidance by those who have ideas on how to win the battle against a rare virus.
It can be easy staying safe in such living conditions, but the good thing is that they are trying. COVID-19 now dominates discussions everywhere. While mainstream media is reporting outbreaks and measures to contain the virus, social media is a mixed grill of truths, half-truths, and blatant lies, also known as fake news. This explains why there is unhealthy fear and panic among those who know next to nothing about coronavirus. From the streets of Makurdi, Benue State, Husseini Mohammed Isa brings the views of residents about the deadly pandemic.
Do you know coronavirus?
I don't know coronavirus, but they hear the affected way they do for people.
It's a sickness that kills everybody this year.
It's COVID-19. It's killing people around.
The coronavirus is a pandemic that originated from China and is killing a lot of people in Italy. Even here in Nigeria, we have had a lot of cases. It's a deadly virus.
Massive sensitization of the public on COVID-19 is one key area that will help in breaking the chain of the infection, which is fast becoming a global threat to both human and the economy. What are the precautionary measures Makurdi residents are taking to protect themselves against the virus?
But I used to wash my hand, carry soap and clean my hand. I can never cough very closer to somebody. I used to carry my hand and cover my mouth.
You wash your hands, or you use hand glove, or you cover your nose and you use sanitizer.
You use hand sanitizer to wash your hand. You'll be washing your hand like for 20 minutes. Then you rub your hand on your face. If you want to rub your hand on your face, you turn back of your hand, you just do like that. You protect your nose, your ears.
I wash my hands frequently and sanitize it whenever I get in contact with certain surfaces. And I make sure I keep distance from people because anybody is a suspect. You don't know who has the virus.
Makurdi has recorded its index case of COVID-19 few days ago, a development that made many people to change their lifestyle and follow the necessary global standard of personal hygiene, which is key to curtailing the spread of the pandemic. Nigerian statistics of COVID-19 cases has kept rising steadily despite coordinated effort by government at all levels to halt the spread. Nigerians are hopeful of seeing to the end of the common enemy, which has limited the social interactions of people.
Can't but keep spreading the message of preventions. Now, lockdowns have emerged as one of the strategies being adopted all over the world to check the spread of the dangerous COVID-19. Nigeria is not an exception. There is the self-isolation aspect as well. Our next report is that of Anthony Forson, who had an encounter with a man who has successfully completed his self-isolation period.
To some, this could be a risky adventure, while to others, their curiosity is tied to whom I'm about to meet.
Mr. Forson. Good to see you. Good to see you, my brother. How are you? I'm fine. Welcome. Welcome.
Settling down to listen to Musa Bawa's experience opened with an encounter with an infected person who is currently in quarantine receiving treatment.
So I've been here alone, away from my parents, my wife, my children, my siblings and colleagues for 3 weeks. Because 3 weeks ago, I met a gentleman who, unfortunately, 2 days later, was pronounced to have contracted the deadly COVID-19 disease. So I needed to responsibly withdraw myself from circulation to protect my family and loved ones. So I've been here all alone.
He, however, sees the isolation and lockdown as a normal life experience that should be appreciated.
No doubt it's been inconveniencing for many. If you notice, some of the greatest leaders we've had around the world, some philosophers, scientists, even prophets, had to self-isolate to be able to bring about those discoveries that the world celebrates today. Even prophecies. We know prophets who have had to climb onto mountains just to self-isolate. We know those who did not self-isolate. They were imprisoned, like Mandela. But those 27 years of isolation brought about the vision that helped him turn around South Africa. As they say, every disappointment could be a blessing. This period has necessitated social distancing away from friends, colleagues, but it has also brought about family bonding. So it comes with its pluses.
In isolation with no family member, Musa took me around his kitchen and explained how he was coping.
This is what keeps us going. Here you have turmeric and ginger, you have garlic, you have black seed, okay, I better say that. You have fenugreek seeds, you have this, which we see around. This is kuka.
Even though it was a tough period in isolation, Musa says it provided an opportunity for him to self-assess, and therefore people should use this lockdown period to do same. For people who will indulge in excessive eating and drinking as a way out, Musa called for caution, saying rather losing weight will be healthier.
I feel great. The symptoms have disappeared, and I feel really great.
Did you notice how Anthony kept his distance? And thanks to the subject for his wonderful tips. The time is due for another break. See you after these commercials.
For now, the best and most efficient way to avoid getting infected is through regular hygienic and sanitary practices, as well as social distancing. As individuals, we remain the greatest weapon to fight this pandemic. By washing our hands regularly with clean water and soap, disinfecting frequently used surfaces and areas, coughing into a tissue or elbow, and strictly adhering to infection prevention control measures in health facilities, we can contain this virus.
Introducing the new Nivea Dry Impact and Dry Comfort Deodorant. Now with quick dry effect and longer lasting fragrance. Guaranteed to keep you feeling dry and fresh all day. Proven 48-hour protection and longer lasting fragrance from Nivea.
Never get caught unfresh with the new Nivea Dry Fresh Deodorants.
How did I get here? It all started shortly after I graduated from MSTC, the Model Skills Training Center, with a certificate in ICT. I successfully developed a data management program that has been called the software of the future. Thanks to its success, everyone wants it. And as you can see, now everyone wants me. But I'm not alone. The skills training programs at MSTC are equipping young Nigerians to become the next big success story. Whether it's ICT, mechatronics, facility technology, electronics and computer networking, or culinary studies, a certificate at MSTC is the way of the future. And just like me, there he is. Everyone will want you to.
ITF, developing the nation's human resource. Nigerians, coronavirus is dangerous. It can kill. When you see this sign, high fever, cough, shortness of breath, drowsiness, pneumonia, don't panic, don't hide. Don't embark in self-medication. Promptly visit the nearest medical facility. Report all cases to the nearest hospital. Prevention is key. Avoid contact with infected persons. Avoid crowded areas as much as possible. Wash your hands regularly. Use hand sanitizers. Your life is precious. Stay alive. Live long, live right. This message is sponsored by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture and the Nigerian Film Corporation. Nigerian Film Corporation, powering possibility.
There is a lot of fake news and report circulating, especially on social media, on the coronavirus. Do not believe or partake in the spread of these fake reports. If it is not on the official website or news from the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, disregard such report. Only together can we beat this virus. Only together can we overcome this pandemic. Follow the instructions and guidelines provided to combat this virus. Most importantly, stay at home. Self-isolate, regardless of your status. The virus doesn't move unless we move. Let us work together to better Nigeria. Together, we can do this. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
A museum that recreates ancient history, architecture, and art is where we are going next. It's called Kanta Museum. Hamisu Robo takes us through the beautiful treasures that are locked in this unique place.
Arugungu in Kebbi said it's always a work of art, a beautiful expression of cultural awareness
a symbol of a people who always look at their past with pride. My visit to Kanta Museum reinforces this experience. This is an ancient palace that has seen the reign of several emirs of Argungu. However, at a point in its history, colonial administrators brought the then emir of Argungu to a new palace. This one is abandoned.
You know, when the Europeans come after the European conquest of northern Nigeria, most of the emirs' palaces, if they are small, the colonial authorities change them.
The beauty of this old palace is that it is still in its natural composition. Nothing changes, not even weather and time altered a thing. The palace is an architectural masterpiece, the symbol of the genius of the builders of past, an expansive palace of beautiful parts. The present emir of Argungu, Samaila Mohammed Mera, actually makes a pilgrimage to this place every Friday to receive his subjects. This is his room in the museum, adorned with rich images of what it is to be a Bakabi. I actually ran into the emir of Argungu at the old palace. He was conducting his guests, the emir of Bade and Yobe, around the ancient edifice. But my fascination was more with this drama of the emir of Argungu, a rare woman. Her name is Ibatu.
Well, I come to Argungu, and believe me, I cannot miss Kanta Museum. But do you know who I find there? The chief drama to the second coming Argungu. A lady by all means, and with all the trademarks of what it is to be an Argungu person or to be a Kabawa person. Beautiful lady by all means, committed, musical, and just elegant.
Wata abin da nufara ba kakana shi ya maka dan sarkin Kabi uban wanga kakana.
The people of Kabi are often identified by their face markings. It stands them unique. Yet the markings differ with the clan and environment. Sibatu's marks are more with the people of the main town Argungu. Kanta Museum also serves as a mausoleum. It is the final resting place of several emirs of Argungu. This helps keeps record of the succession history of the kingdom. Kanta Museum keeps record of what stands it out as a historical and cultural entity. There are images of its famous fishing festival. There are records of its traditional costumes, true and ancient practices. One of the cultures that I have really grown up to appreciate is the Bori culture. Bori culture in Hausaland has for long been a religious cult. The people who perform Bori as a dance or as a mystic performance believe that they can talk to the spirit you cannot see, and that these spirits can give you intercessory powers, maybe in worldly affairs, what you are seeking for benefit or other things like that. It has been there for quite a long time. Today, because of the influence of Islamic religion, the Bori cult or the cult in Bori is seen now as an entertainment outlet and certainly not a religious function. So, surprisingly, when I come to Argungu, when I come to Kanta Museum, I find that the Kabawa themselves too, they do have a Bori with the same message and the same significance as the Hausa people do have. And here it is. The art of Bori is still practiced in many parts of northern Nigeria, but not with the spiritualism of the years gone by. In Kanta Museum, there are images of various forms the spiritual appears to humans in the Bori cult. However, it is on matters of warfare that the old Kanta kingdom prides itself the more. Kanta kingdom is a warrior state. In the museum, there are exhibits of drums of several kingdoms that Kanta warriors collected from the battlefield. Drums that were in real life taken to the war front and lost. In battles of those years, if you lost a drum, you lost a strong boy that gingered the forces, and ultimately you lose the battle. There are exhibits of several arsenals that the Kabawa actually fought wars with here. However, this one is a masterpiece.
Worthy of thing of notice, especially, is this small god you are seeing. This was brought by one Magajin Dankana, who then was not able to fight because of the age of his old age. He could not fight any war, therefore he brought this as his weapon. He told the emir, "This is my weapon." So he used to put some medicine in it, recite some incantations, and he will now pour the content in our river. And throughout the period of the war, no enemy will be able to drink water. Water or anything liquid, you cannot take it.
You stab with water.
Yes. Not that the water will vanish or it will
There is water, but it's not for drinking.
There is water, but you cannot take it. The moment it touches your body, it will turn into, we have small bony fish around here we call karaya. It will turn into karaya and it will hook you. You and your mount, no water. And you know that itself is a weapon.
This is real thing.
This is the original God. And he has passed the knowledge to present generation.
It happened that in all ancient houses in old Kantachimdom, houses are equipped with the garrets. When there is fear of enemy attack, for example, families take especially their children up overhead bunker and lock them to save the family. A model survives in the museum to date.
Captivating tour that was. Thanks for sharing, Hamisu. We'll pause here for our last break. Newsline returns shortly.
Coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, has been declared by the World Health Organization as a global pandemic. While clinical trials are ongoing for a vaccine and a possible cure, there is no known treatment for the coronavirus. Nigeria has recorded some of these cases, and people are advised to take these preventive measures to keep themselves safe and contain the further spread of the virus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water or use hand sanitizers all the time. Maintain social distancing. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Practice respiratory hygiene. If you have fever, cough, and difficulty breathing, seek medical care early. Do not panic. Stop the spread of unconfirmed news. Follow the official government news outlets and report all cases immediately. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
James, I don't know, you need to answer your call. This. Hello?
Is this Mr. Peter? I'm calling from the NCDC. Your friend, Mr. James Okripocha, was brought in this morning and tested positive for the coronavirus. He mentioned that he had been in close contact with you.
God forbid bad thing.
Sir, I am not saying that you have the virus, but you have spent some time with him over the past 14 days and it is better if you self-isolate immediately.
I don't know any James at all. Even only James in the Bible that I know as a good Christian.
Sir, he showed us pictures.
Now, wow, if you have come in contact with someone who has tested positive for the coronavirus, self-isolating is key to protecting those around you. Remember, viruses don't move, people do. Stopping the spread is in your hands.
This message is from the Akinfade Foundation in partnership with the National Orientation Agency with support from MacArthur Foundation.
Our report just in says 8 new cases of COVID-19 have been confirmed in Nigeria, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 232. Of the 8 new cases, 5 are in Lagos, 2 in the FCT, and 1 in Edo. 33 of the 232 cases in Nigeria have been discharged, while 5 fatalities have been recorded. A multi-sectional National Emergency Operations Center activated at Level 3 continues to coordinate the national response activities. Time to draw the curtains on Newsline. Be sure to stay safe. See you next week. Good night and God bless Nigeria.